Hi everybody, it's Crazy. It's Wednesday, and it's time for the Learned Experience video. We're up to episode number 31. Didn't make that 30 mark, but guess what? I'm up to chapter 14. And what book you say? Well, let me tell you about it. It's Automate the Boring Stuff with Python. I've been going through this book for a little while now, and I'm trying to get my Python learning a little bit better, and I'm starting to understand a lot more things that I didn't before. And of course, practice does make perfect, so I am practicing and trying and messing around with more stuff. I started off on page number 319. Let me get my cursor around here. 319, which is chapter 14, which is working with CSV files and JSON data. Now, for the most part, I kind of wish this one had a little bit more in depth on the JSON and CSV files because they seemed very interesting, very easy to pick up. I caught on to it really fast, really easily, and I thought it was going to be harder than doing like the Excel and Word documents, but it was actually a lot easier, and it seemed to run a lot smoother for me. So, needless to say, uh, I started out, and of course, it tells about the CVS module that you can put in. Gave a little bit of practice with reading doing reader objects, which was pretty neat because you can actually just print it out and it will print out what looks like a type of an Excel type style, which is cool. I liked it, and I really started getting into it. So I read a little, went into a little bit more depth. I started, doing the read data from a reader object for in a for loop, which is kind of cool because you can run it through. It's interesting. Then I learned how to write it, and then delimiter and line terminators, keyword arguments. Now that one was a little bit rough for me because I was trying to figure out what it meant, but then when I got further into it, I realized that like the delimiter, could be this, and the line terminator could be to next lines or new lines. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I got into that pretty well. Then I, continued on to a project called Removing the Header from CSV Files. Yeah, I'm trying to say CVS. Anybody know what a CVS is? Yeah. If you know, yeah, stop. Go back to Walgreens. The CSV, I started messing around with the CSV files again, and that was on page 325. I'm going to put that over here on my other one. So if I bring that down, it automatically drops me into this. It tells you what the project's about, how to do it. It takes you, through steps of what to do. And I literally, it was very simple for me to understand because I was sitting there going, okay, I get this. This isn't too hard, but what else can I do with it? There's got to be something more than just removing the header from a CSV file, right? So I kept going through it, and it tells us to do the project. So I got the project going. I copy stuff down so that way I can remember it myself. I give myself the information. I went through the entire project. Now, the only reason why I've got it all commented out is because this one will overwrite anything that it, previously did. And I didn't want to mess it up because I had a lot of information in there that I wanted to keep. So I commented it all out. I said, this file is, this actual file is in the remove CSV header folder because I had made a folder and put it in there instead. Okay. So with that being said, I moved on to the, oops, I clicked too fast. I moved on to page 327 was where I ended out that day. So 327. Okay, which puts me here. And, I removed the headers and it was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I wonder what's next. It stops there. As much as I liked it, it wasn't enough information for me. It wasn't enough to really delve into. So I'm going to try to see if I can look into CSV files and some JSON files, or how to use them in context. I would like, the idea I'm thinking about is for my game, I would like to be able to use, different files for like save games and stuff like that. And people tell me CSV files are good. Some people tell me that JSON files are good, or some people just tell me a text file works just fine. Use a text file. Well, I want to find the better one, and only way to do that is to look it up for yourself, right? So, with that being said, I started on the next part, which was JSON and APIs. Everybody says JSON, however you say it. It's okay. A lot of people, say it a certain way, and they will correct you. At least that's what the book tells me. But everybody knows what you're talking about when you're talking about a JSON file, especially if you're just typing it. Okay. So I started out with that, and let me go ahead and switch back over to here. So I started playing around with the JSON module, and got to reading a JSON with the loads function. I liked it. It was really interesting, but most of it had to do with just loading it from something. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Well, writing JSON with the dumps function. So okay, I'm learning how to write them. So that was kind of interesting. So it got into a project called Fetching Current Weather Data. Now, unfortunately, on page 330, okay, when I got there, you know, file pretty easy to do. Understood some of it. I always have. I don't know why, but I have a problem with the sys argv or argv, however they say it. But for this, you got to run it from the command line, and I don't know why. I just cannot get my command line to do what I want. So there's other ways of doing so. You can actually change this and do something else with it for the location. And as I plowed on through, I literally plowed on through. Let me bring this one up right here. Okay, and we'll switch back over. So here it is. Continue, doing a JSON APIs. I started, the project, and the only problem is with this project is you cannot get, the location, because the website says no, you can't. And so I looked up, and I got actually got the website that would work, that they said would work, and it says okay, it uses longitude and latitude. I said okay, well I can just plug that in. So I created a lat and a lon, for the latitude and longitude, and plugged in the weather service, okay, and it errored out and errored out, and I've tried a few other places, and I finally gave up on it. And I was aggravated because of the fact that, all I wanted was a location to pop up. It to pop up the weather for that location, just so I can say I completed this. There's a way to do this, but you have to run it from the command line, and I suck at the command line. So, yeah. Needless to say, I put it here at the bottom. It says, unfortunately, I couldn't get it to work and wasn't in the mood to continue fighting it anymore. Continue fighting it. So, that right there was the end of the chapter. And believe it or not, that was page 3, I think it was 334. 334. I didn't do any of the practice projects or anything like that. I didn't feel the need to, because of the fact that it's more web stuff, and I'm not really interested in JSON for web, stuff. I'm wanting it for something else. And so now I'm up to Chapter 15, Keeping Time, Scheduling Tasks, and Launching Programs. Now, I do have a bad feeling that this is going to wind up biting me in the buttocks, okay? Because the only reason why is because most of them are going to run from the command prompt, and it's going to be hard for me to do it because I can't get mine to run from the command prompt. I tried the batch file, I tried what it said and tried to do, but the book is kind of old, so it's harder to get it to go on newer computers. Now, if I was running, Windows ME or something like that, no, I think it was later than ME, but nonetheless, if I was running, I would say 7. 7 would work, right? If I was running 7, it would probably work. But unfortunately, I believe I'm going to fail at chapter 15 because I'm not going to get anything to work. But a lot of this stuff I can use actually at my work, and I've been slowly but surely trying to build a program, and I'm going to put that in one of my videos and show y'all what I made, and and try to explain it. Okay, so ended at the beginning of chapter 15. This is my next stop. Three more to go. Yeah, 3 more to go after this because there's 18 chapters and I'm at chapter 15, so 3 more to go. So with that being said, input is always welcomed. Feedback is always welcome. Advice is always welcome. If you'd like to drop some down in the comments or hop on over to my server, hey, come on by. And don't forget, you trust it out there, you guys rock. My crazy fam, love you guys. And Patreons, thank you for your support. Until next time.